You're in Miami, right?
Yeah, I'm in Miami, in Key Biscayne.
Key Biscayne. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I used to live in Kendall
hmm Yeah,
back in
I
the
have a lot of
days.
friends from Kendall. I guess once I went to high school, I had like a bunch of friends that were from Kendall.
Oh, nice. That's
But
good.
yeah,
Cool.
and now you're in California.
Yeah, LA,
hmm
Los Angeles. I've been here
Yeah.
now. It's gonna be 3 years in November.
Wow.
Hmm.
No, well, I during the pandemic, I was playing a lot of games. I got my girlfriend to play games with me too because we were bored, and I was like, I should do something else. And I love writing, so I was like, let me put everything together.
Hmm.
And then it was well because of people like Kind of Funny and people at IGN and stuff. And then I came across you, and I'd always heard your name, but I didn't like I know like three Danny Peñas from Miami.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
then
a very common name.
and then you came up on Kind of Funny for the Latin month you hosted, I think.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, and it was you and a few other people that I don't know, I never thought of.
I
I
think it
never
was
saw
2020, maybe. I
maybe
think it was
2020 or yeah,
2020, 2020, 2021, I think. Actually, you know what? I think it was 2020, the end of
yeah.
2020. Hmm.
Yeah, and then I just started looking up gamer tag radio and everything, and then Paris came along out of like everything too, and he joined
Yeah,
Kind of Funny, but it was just funny to see like
yeah,
everyone moving along, coming into like the stuff I watched when I start looking them up.
yeah. That's cool. That's good to know. Good
hmm
to know.
But
Yeah.
then I think the important thing was just seeing someone from Miami was cool, like someone who came from Miami who's Latin, that my parents are Cuban.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I always thought everything in games and games media wasn't like you have to go to California, you have to go to New York or something.
Hmm.
But it was just cool to see someone. And I don't know, you've been a big influence on me since then.
Ah, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing you grow. And I don't know, your interview with Reggie, working at G4, everything's just really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Already, it's gonna be a year now working at G4 in
Mhm.
October. So it's been uh it's been a very crazy experience so far, man. But I'm been having fun, man.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, having a lot of fun with the team. And also been, working a lot of like projects and stuff. So
hmm And what is it
yeah.
you do there? You're doing more behind the scenes stuff or?
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff. I'm the games editorial lead at
Mhm.
G4. So I'm the one that books the interviews, get like review codes, handle any like hands-on events. So I'll work with publishers with that. Um, and I do a lot of studio tours with people
When
within
people
the
come
gaming
visit.
industry. Yeah, come visit, I
Mhm.
give them a tour and everything. And what I also do, a lot of people don't know about this, but I also work for other shows too. So, like for example, WWE Arena, Attack of the Show, Eat Sports, or anything G4 related.
Yeah.
When we have a game that's going to air um, on cable, so for
hmm
example, let's say WWE Arena, they want to show a game for them to put it also in the show for them to compete with other people, blah blah. Like so that I will talk to the publishers for the companies to also give us permission to air that on TV. So I
hmm
work with them and my team and legal and everything else. So I do that a lot behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Hmm.
Well, I think it's cool also that you're still doing GTR like every week and keeping
Yeah,
that
yeah,
going.
yeah. I'm still
So you see,
every Sunday we'll record and yeah, we post it there. So sometimes I will attend an event as a G4 and GTR. I'll record the content or record the content for the podcast and also help out as much as I can with G4 too. So I
Mhm.
did Saints Row a couple weeks back in Las Vegas, and yeah, and they want also for me to cover for the podcast too.
Well,
Hmm.
so then what were your early goals for GTR when you started? Because did it start as just a podcast? Like podcasting was new at the time, and you were like, I'm just gonna
Hmm.
start talking about video games because I love games,
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Uh, so I'm gonna go back and it was in 1998. I was living in Miami. I was still because I used to be a street promoter and also used to write for a Miami hip hop newspaper that we
Mhm.
created back in those days. And during that time, I noticed that the internet was getting bigger and bigger, and there was this website. It was called Sudo, back then. It was a streaming service for audio and video. So they
Mhm.
have like different shows. Like the one show was about like a hip hop show, another one a rock show, entertainment show. But think of it as like YouTube, what we have now, but back in the 90s, late
Yeah.
90s, right? So I was watching an interview with an artist, Nas. I'm a huge fan
Mhm.
of his. And he was there, interviewed and did a freestyle. And I'm like, man, I would love to have a show online. Like, this is pretty cool, but instead of music, I want to, do something, maybe gaming. And I tried to do it in 98, and it was just so expensive. Technology wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
So then I moved to New York for college, like around 99 or so. And then again, I wanted to do this radio thing. I found a website called mp3.com that it was for music artists. So let's say you're an artist, you put up your songs to this website, and every time that someone is listening to your songs, you get paid out of that. Similar to what we have now with like Spotify.
Mhm.
But this was in 2001. So I decided to create a show that was free hosting and also get paid every time people listen to my show at that time in February of 2001. So I created a show because I'm a huge fan of Fantasy Star Online for Dreamcast.
Yeah.
They came out for
Mhm.
that. And I posted it, and it got picked up on IGN and other places. So I remember my first check that I received because of that show during that time. I got $500, I think it was, something like
Wow.
that. And I was like, man, I wanna take this serious. I want to make money out of this. So um, after that, fast forward, I wanted to launch a new show called Game Voice, and
Mhm.
originally I was going to launch it 9/11 of 2001.
Oh wow.
So 9/11 happened. I was not in the mood for a while. I think it was
No.
like over a month or two. Um, and then I found out that Xbox was coming to New York City, and a week later, Nintendo was going to call also to New York City. So they were promoting their new console. So it was Xbox and GameCube.
Mhm.
So at that time, I went to an event. It was like a competition from Xbox. It was 48 hours, and I was there with my camera and my tape recorder, and I recorded everybody that was in line, and I interviewed the developers that were there, the creators of the original Xbox, and then I was there. They surprised me and a couple other people, free Xbox. So I got a copy sent from Microsoft early, and then I went to the GameCube event, same thing, recording and everything. So now we're during the time where the Xbox was about to launch in New York City. So I
Mhm.
was in there. They invited me to go to Times Square to be part of the event, talk to the media about the consoles because we had it early and everything. And once we got there, they wanted us to also play video games with Bill Gates. So I got to play with him. We were
Mhm.
playing a Fusion Frenzy for the Xbox. Terrible. He's not a gamer. He's terrible. But that was a lot of fun. We did that. There's pictures online, videos online of that. And ever since that day, it inspired me to create a podcast, which is Gamertag Radio. So when I launched Gamertag Radio, it was February 25th, 2005. There was no smartphones. Um, there was iPods, but that's it. It was only for like music and everything like that. So um, I would never mention the word podcast during that time because people thought you needed an iPod in order for
Yeah,
you
to
to listen
listen to them.
to listen to them. So what I would do, I will go locally to Kendall, all over Miami. I had flyers, and I will go GameSpot, GameStop,
Mhm.
and a couple other retail stores where if there's like a big launch of any game, I'll go there and pass out flyers, and I'll tell people, hey, listen to my show online, this and that. And I will interview people. And the reason why I'll interview people while they're in line, so they could tell their friends, hey, I came on this
Yeah,
show.
and
Like,
they would
it was
listen
like
to
a,
me on this show.
yeah. So it was a way for me to promote it, man. So I did that, and it helped me to get the word around locally and everything. And then fast forward, now I want to go to E3. My first time going to E3. That's
Mhm.
like my dream to go over there, right?
Yeah.
So um I I got together with my brother because we were both launch Gamer Tag Radio at that time, and up on him, the flight. We got a hotel. We rented a car. I also went to Kinkles and Kendall Drive. There was, I think it's still there. I'm not sure, but um, I created a press kit, and it was like a folder with bio, pictures of us, a
Mhm.
CD of our best interviews. And then I took that to E3 and I gave it to every single company that was there. Um, and they ignored it. They didn't want to talk to me, no appointments, nothing. I was like, damn. So I left discouraged
Oh.
from E3. And at the same time, I only had $20 for the week of E3. So my brother and I were eating McDonald's, whatever it was like cheap at that time. And we
Mhm.
survived like that, because there was people that will go to events, but we had no idea. We didn't know
Yeah.
how to get an appointment. It was like totally new for me. And then I left E3. I went back home and I feel discouraged. I was like, man, I just wasted my time and money going to this thing, man. It was a mission just to play a game. It was just like terrible because we didn't have no media badges. It was just a regular badge
Mhm.
of going. So then 2 months after that, Steve Jobs had an event at Apple, and he announced that they added podcasts to iTunes 2 months right after E3. So it helped me to get more new listeners. The numbers went crazy high,
Mhm.
and now every company now is hitting me up to do interviews for inviting me to and my brother to go to their studios, check out the games early and everything. Ever since then, it's just been a wild ride, man. I traveled all over the world, been getting a lot of business opportunities, for me personally and for the show.
Mhm.
We did an amazing interview with Phil Spencer for our 1,000 episode. That was insane. Um, what else? I've done a lot. It's like really hard
Yeah.
to remember everything, but I interviewed Keanu Reeves for Cyberpunk,
I saw that.
Giancarlo. I interviewed Michael K. Williams for Battlefield. Um, oh my God, bunch of artists too. So it's been a crazy cool ride, man. Just
Yeah.
love it so far, man. Yeah, and I feel like I'm just getting started. Like it's not. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. So and it's
Mhm.
been now 17 years, man.
Wow.
Over 17 years. That's a
Yeah.
very long answer for sorry.
No, that's a really good answer
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And then now you have your children's book. It's called Danny Loves Video
Mhm.
Games.
Yes.
But what made you say I want to make a children's book? Was it something you always wanted to do, or someone came
Mhm.
to you with the idea?
Multiple reasons. One, my cousin was the one that approached me because he's done a multiple children's book with his wife. So their publisher is called 2K Two Quality People.
Mm-hmm.
So they approached me and mentioned to me like, Danny, I think it would be really cool if we could do a children's book about your life based on a true story. And I said, oh my God, I love this. Like this would be
Yeah.
really cool. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I said yes is because when I started back in the days, and even in my early days of gaming, I didn't have like a mentor or um, a way for me to learn how to get into the business or stuff like that. So in the book, I talk about like how I started gaming
Mm-hmm.
and how I came up with Gamer Tag Radio. And at the same time, my dad, now it's different, but at that time he felt like it was just a waste. Like he didn't really get the whole why I'm doing this and everything. He's like, hey, you're wasting your time, go get a job, like that type of thing. And the reason why that made this book is because one, it's to inspire the kids. Two, is educate the parents that it doesn't matter what it is, let your kids dream big, and for them to also be supportive, man. It was really difficult for me in the early days because this is like so new, especially for like the generation of my dad, like that
Yeah.
generation around there. So that's the reason why I did it, man. I want to just educate people and inspire people, man. Like I mentioned to you about me going to Times Square, playing with Bill Gates. I got invited to Microsoft and everything. And then 20 years later, I'm I'm in a billboard in Times Square.
Yeah.
That like it's crazy. So I have that in the book. And I made it in a way where it's not very technical. And it was like very simple, but it's like a great story for kids to just be inspired and I hope it helps out, man.
Yeah. Because it's like you started, now a lot of people do the kind of thing that I'm doing that you started out doing,
hmm
but when you started, it wasn't like a big thing, so you were kind of like making it up as you go along and figuring it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and I was honestly, I was learning on the spot. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't. I'm not saying everything was perfect for me. I had to learn on my own how to edit, how to do everything back then. You know, growing up, I couldn't afford to get a computer. I got my first computer when I was like in my mid-20s or something like that.
Mhm.
Once I went to college, I got like a student loan and everything. So once I got a computer, that's when I'm like, oh man, I gonna do this, gonna do that. So I remember connecting my radio to my computer, and in real time I'll record something
To
on my
record.
record something on the tape
Hmm.
cassette, and then I'll press play and I record on my computer. So now I'm converting into MP3, and now I can upload that, but it's like terrible quality, and I will do that, and people will still listen to the show, man. Like, at that time. So the reason why I mentioned that is because, sometimes people will love to go and put all their money on buying like the most expensive equipment and everything like that. And you don't need to, man. You don't need to start whatever you have at the beginning, and just learn from there. That's what I did.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then what was the process of writing the book? Was it like you just went back in your mind, wrote out these large stories probably, and then you had to summarize them for a children's book to be short versions?
Yeah, so my cousin, he knows a lot about my story too,
Yeah.
and there was stuff that there was some couple things that he didn't know. So we would sit down and have these type of conversation. He would record and everything, and then he presented to me like the book, how it looks and everything. And I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect. Like
Hmm.
it's not difficult. It's not, it's like the story is just good. So that's when I'm saying like, yo, this is like the perfect book for introduction for kids, man, especially, the ages around 6 to 11 or so. Even when I was a teenager, and this is not in the book, but when I was a teenager, I went up to my mom, and this was like in the early 90s,
Hmm.
early 90s, during the Super Nintendo Sega Genesis days. I told my mom, is it possible for us to get an office? I have a bunch of Super Nintendos and the original NES and Sega Genesis, and I could charge people per controller to play my games. And she's like, you know what? Let's do it. She no questions asked. Let's go for it. And we did it. And I made pretty good money, man, during that time, man. People will come and play, Mortal Kombat 2,
Hmm.
Street Fighter, all that stuff, man. So that was really cool. I always been like, and in the book, you see me bring up like I always wanted to be part of the business, part of the industry. I just didn't know how or what.
Yeah.
At first, I wanted to be a game designer when I
Yeah, I
was
was
a
gonna
kid.
ask you that if it was wanting to be a game designer or just like work around games or find your way, I guess,
I think
into the
more,
industry.
yeah, I think for me at that time, it was more of a game designer.
Hmm.
I wasn't thinking anything about like content creation, nothing like that at all.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah.
And is the artist of the book is your cousin's wife,
No,
or do
but
they
my
have another
cousin,
artist
they
for your
they
cousin?
uh they actually have people from their
So they're
team.
like the
Yeah,
publisher.
yeah, they have people that from the team that worked on that stuff.
Mm.
And yeah, they were. I mean, I don't know the full details.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
they worked on that stuff.
what was it like the first time you saw like someone drew a picture of you as a kid?
Yeah, that part was mind boggling to me. First, I see myself with hair. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man. Uh, number two, number two, I saw the potential of. I'm gonna keep it real. I saw the potential of doing a series now
Oh,
because of this, so I could do, a continued series about me loving video games, or maybe have another book about podcasting and,
yeah. Are you
you know
loving
different,
music and stuff?
yeah, music and stuff like that. Yeah, like I see the potential, man. And at the same time, seeing that cover reminded me of staying up all night
Yeah.
playing all kinds of cool games in my early days of gaming for me, man. That's the first thing that popped up in my head when I got to see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No, I was
really
gonna
cool.
ask you if you had, I guess, more, if you see more books in your future, whether it's more of this or more maybe
Mhm.
writing a novel or even comic books or anything like that, or just
Yeah,
sticking with this more.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I wanna see how this one,
Hmm.
like, I just want to hear like the feedback from everybody once they see this. But the good thing is, ever since the announcement, because I never mentioned this to anyone, I kept this like super under wraps. Not even my co-host knew about it. They found
Hmm.
out the day that I posted it on Twitter. So the reason why I'm so excited to hear is because I'm getting a lot of messages from people that used to go to school with me in Miami, and now they either have kids, or they're about to have kids, or some of them are even about to have grandkids,
Hmm.
and they want me to sign a copy of their book once I visit Miami, and they're gonna read it to their kids once they get a little bit older and everything. And they just been super inspired, man.
Yeah.
Seeing me doing my thing, since the 90s, so
Hmm.
but yeah,
Oh, that's
it's
super
exciting.
cool.
It's very,
Hmm.
very exciting getting that feedback from everyone,
And the book's coming out next month.
Yes, September 15th. So the reason why I'm releasing this on that day, there's multiple reasons. One
Hmm.
is that was the first day of me being on the billboard at Times Square. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, is the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hmm.
That's number two. And number three, I also proposed to my wife on that day when we were in Dominican Republic last
Oh,
year.
well,
Mhm.
that's cool. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
good reasons.
A lot of good reasons. Yeah, yeah. Just want to continue the energy, man, and at the same time, I want to inspire just kids overall, man, especially Latinos. It's difficult for parents to understand about gaming, and I just want to show them like it's not just sit down and play. That's
Yeah,
it.
it can inspire like a
It's
bunch of
it's
stuff too.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Inspire people. It will help you with, when you're feeling alone or stressed out. Even in 2020, there was so many people during the pandemic playing games, and it helped them
Yeah.
during a very difficult time in our life, man. And not only that, I also want them to be inspired, and hopefully they could also get into the gaming industry and make a change. Because we need more of us. When you look at the amount of people that are in the business, Latinos is a very small percentage, right? And now things are changing because now there's different organizations that's helping out now. Video game companies are being more open to get more people of color within the industry that are very, very talented. They just don't know how to get access. So we're making changes, and I think the book is going to be a small portion of us trying to help the next generation of game developers and content
Hmm.
creators, man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, it's something you don't see a lot, I guess, is it's like a different type of children's book.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is the first book
Yeah, it
that
feels like it.
it's the first book of this type of story,
Mhm.
of of a kid that had a dream to be part of the industry, especially in gaming. And look now, man. Look, for me, I've done so many things in the past 21 years now. Once I started internet radio,
Mhm.
and I also became the first Latino inducted to the Podcast Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so many things, man. And I want to just give back as much as possible now that I'm in the industry. So that's my goal.
Hmm. I have a few questions, or just a few
Sure.
more that aren't about the book. But if you weren't
Mhm.
working in gaming, where would you want to be working in? Maybe music or something else, or something completely different.
I'm always been into radio, man.
Hmm.
I just love sitting down and having a conversation with people. Like I always been into that and podcasting. It doesn't have to be, like I said, gaming, but
Yeah.
overall, just having conversation, man. Because it's everybody has the unique story to tell. Because look, there's only going to be one person as you. I have my story, you have your own. So why not share that to people so they could learn, and maybe this will help them to get inspired and just learn from other people, man. Overall,
Hmm.
just love conversations.
You
Just
know,
love that a lot.
yeah, I've learned a lot. Last year, I interviewed like a bunch of indie game developers, but I learned a lot from them, and
Hmm.
even just that they're just like us, just normal people who loved games that happened to learn how to make them
Yeah,
and wanted to
yeah.
share their
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was a tweet I don't have the exact tweet, but you said something like it's better to do less like posts but work harder on them than to just be posting all the time, which is true, but
Mhm.
and not to become obsessed with like numbers and data. And then before I read that, I was like, okay, I have to do like 3 to 4 things a week on my site. Plus I have another like blog where I just write like stupid things or silly things, like
Mhm.
more comedy, silly things. That I was trying to do once a week, but that was like something every day. So I was like, let me just slow it
Mhm.
down. And I feel like I've been getting better with planning, trying to like just do 2 things a week is good enough. If I do one, that's okay.
Mhm.
But and don't worry about like checking, oh, are people looking at it, or just keep doing it and try to do it as good as you can, as like well as you can.
Yeah, I can't remember the reason why I wrote that. I'm always writing some random stuff on Twitter, but um, I feel like sometimes people are still caught up on let me post up, let me post, let me post, let me post. It could be YouTuber, TikTok, whatever. Like, but they're not really making moves behind the scenes. Like they're just stuck on a computer. And like for me, the thing that helped me when I started doing this back then is for me to attend events and meet people and network and let them know the things that I do. You know, now I'm getting emails and calls from very different companies, man, that they will just want to sit down and do other opportunities with me, man, in the future, you know, because I'm out there doing more than just podcasting, more than just, you know, posting on Twitter. You get what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, another tweet that I put up is know your value, man. Don't ever do things for free for companies. You know, it's good for you to tell them like, hey, if you have an opportunity, mention to them, okay, this is my rate. They have the budget, and if they don't have the budget, move on. If you want, work something out that's going to benefit you to grow even more, for you to get more opportunities, you know. So that's another thing I've been posting to a lot. Like I decline a bunch of stuff because I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything for free. Like it's not, you know, I worked really really hard
Yeah.
on the stuff that I'm doing, and I just don't like when companies take advantage of people, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, that to me is super important, man, especially people that are getting into the business side of this, you know. It's good to learn about that too, man. And then don't be afraid to ask friends that probably also had opportunities, you know, to be part of different events or different gigs. Ask them, like, ask them some advice. That would be very helpful too, man.
Mm-hmm. No,
Mhm.
last month, or was it earlier this? Maybe it was 2 months ago now. I went to SuperCon here. That I got the press pass because I got it last year, and it was just I just talked to like a bunch of people, like voice actors who worked in games and stuff, and it was just having a conversation with them. It was really cool.
That's cool. That's a Florida SuperCon, right?
Yeah,
In Fort Lauderdale.
it moved back to Miami Beach.
Oh,
It went,
nice.
yeah,
Okay,
because they
okay.
redid the whole convention center here, so it's
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because I remember they were there for a couple of years and then they
yeah.
left. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's
Hmm.
good to hear, man. I think that's look, the industry is so small that your name will go around easily. If people like working with you and they've done stuff with you, it will go around.
Hmm.
You know, there's people that will go to an event and they will come up to me like, hey Danny, I work with so and so. I heard nothing but great things about you. Hey, let's sit down. You know, we just talk, you know, and it's again networking, man. The industry is so small, it just goes everywhere, man.
Yeah. No, I hope to go to E3 next year or something. I was gonna go to PAX this year, but then it got complicated. So
Hmm.
hopefully next year I'll go to my first like gaming focused event that
Yes.
I've been invited.
Yeah, let me know once you're there, man. We
Hmm.
can definitely, you know, see each other real quick, you know.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
then my last question is not related to anything. It was you and about you meeting your wife Rihanna, just because my girlfriend and I met through comedy, like through improv here in Miami
Mhm.
in Coral Gables, that we were at the same theater. And I
Mhm.
just, when I saw you and her dating, I was, oh, that's so cool, because I love the stories of like people in the same industry or the same kind of circle meeting.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's wild because I was single, she was single, and it was during the pandemic.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of mutual friends. So she sent me a DM on Twitter, and during that time, I remember there was a lot of events happening because all the events just got canceled. So a lot of the companies stretched their news for like the whole summer. So it was almost every week there was something going on, like a
Yeah,
press conference, video.
the
Yeah, it was
summer
like,
of gaming, everything.
yeah, summer of gaming every week. It was
Mhm.
intense. And back in 2020,
Mhm.
and then we finally got to play Apex, start chatting, and yes, she visited New York, and she stayed there for a couple of days. I took her out and everything over there too, and yeah, we just became super super close, man. Then one day, she was moving, and yeah, we were already like kind of dating there, like
Mhm.
but then we made it official, and then uh she was moving from Seattle to LA, and I told her, "Hey, look, I'll go over there and help you move." I wasn't planning to stay or anything like that.
Mhm.
And I mentioned that to my mom, and my mom was cooking, I remember. And she goes, "Nah, I don't see you coming back." And I'm like, "What you mean I'm not?" Like, "Nah, I don't see you coming back." And I'm like, "Okay." I really thought about it for 24 hours. And I was really scared to mention this to Rihanna. And, and then the
Mhm.
next day I called them like, "Hey, Ree, I thought about this. I know this is going to sound crazy, but what you think of me is moving in with you, and we just do this together?" She's like, she was also feeling the same way, but she was also
Yeah,
like
so I didn't want
scared
to
to
say
tell me. Yeah.
it.
So then, yeah, we moved November 1st, 2020, and it's been like life changing for us, man. And
Mhm.
we've been doing a lot of things together, projects together, and it's just been great. Oh my God, I remember last year I proposed to her in Dominican Republic, and it was her family, my friends was there. It was awesome, man, awesome, and we had an amazing wedding back in
Mhm.
April of this year. And yeah, we bought a house together now. We got married. I
Mhm.
do not recommend anybody to do that at the same time. It's chaotic,
Buy a
but
house and get married at the same time.
yeah, it was very stressful. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of things together, man, and it's
Mhm.
been life changing, honestly, life changing, man, for
Yeah.
both of us.
No, me and my girlfriend started dating like January 2020. Then everything got shut down. And then we remember 2021 when we were starting to be able to do stuff again. It's like, oh, that was the first time we like went to the post office together, or went like just normal
Yeah,
things. Like this is the first time we go to Target together.
yeah,
Just thinking
yeah.
of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of us too. Like
Yeah.
we moved to LA. We were stuck in a small apartment for months. We were not going out. We're like, nope, nope.
Hmm.
And then we got, I remember we got our first vaccine, and we were like, woo! We like started going out, going to restaurants, because over here everything was closed. We couldn't
Yeah.
eat inside or anything like that in LA. And then we got our second vaccine, and that's when I'm like, all right, we're gonna go now to Miami and visit the family. And I took over there, and everybody met her for the first time in
Oh
person.
wow.
It was, yeah, it was like, oh my God, it was real so cool. And then after that, of course, New York, and she met my mom and my sister and everything, man. So yeah, it was been cool. Really, really cool, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for doing this. And
Yeah, anytime,
I
anytime,
wish
man.
you all the success. And I'm excited I'll be at your book event probably that I got my
Yeah, yeah,
ticket. I had
yeah.
to get a
Can't
new
wait.
library card.
Oh, really? But you can sign up. I think there's
Yeah,
people
well,
that sign up without
I think you could sign
the.
up without it, but I was like, I found one, and then I was like, well, now I have to I should get a new one, and it's all
Yeah,
digital.
yeah,
Like I found the old school one from probably when I was in middle
yeah.
school.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, I want you to meet my cousin and his wife.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I
Mhm.
think right now. I think there's like 29 tickets left. I think, I'm not sure,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, thanks so much,
Cool.
and
All right, no problem.
yeah, and I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, that's less than a month, right?
Yeah,
Oh no,
mhm.
well, in a month and a couple of days.
And you'll have the book there to
Yeah,
buy it and everything.
we're gonna have it there too.
I'll probably get
Yeah, yeah,
for my nephews that they're perfect age. They're 7 and 11.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have it now. It's gonna be Spanish and in English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So if they want to learn Spanish, hey,
Mhm.
There you go. All right, man. But thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. So nice to meet you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.